What is going on here?
That's... Ben, say something. And don't put me on the spot like that, Trilo.
I found this in Money's room. Money's room? You mean a room they put money, like a bank vault? Was it Money's room? I thought it was like... Wasn't it like the acrobat's room or something? I didn't think it was the room specifically for the monkey. Maybe I'm wrong. Mr. Quist, I would prefer if you avoided slandering innocent fiats. What? What the fuck's a fiat or a fiat? What the fuck is that? I've never heard that word. I see, well then... Money likes to go after the shiniest things that he can find and gather them up. Shiny things? I like shiny. Trilo, when was this ring stolen from you?
Well, I suppose it was that time, you know, that night, the night of the crime. What did you just say?
Details. I need more details.
Well, it was stolen right after Max showed up in the plaza.
Right about when you saw the defendant walk past, correct?
Well, I guess I might be able to say that. The ring might have, well, it could have been taken around that time.
Ben, what's with you? Oh, whatever. It has nothing to do with anything, especially not who committed the murder. It's not for you to decide what has to do with what. Now, Trilo, back to the topic at hand. I haven't admitted a thing. Not I, Mr. Trilo Quist. What did you do when the ring was taken, Trilo? You know exactly what I did. I chased after that ring, snatching monkey money. Ugh. So you left that area. So you didn't see if anybody else went there. You lying piece of wood. It's all this slow loafy fool called Ben's fault. While he was fumbling his way through the snow, that dumb monkey was able to get away. That is indeed an incredible shame. Well, this does indeed prove one very important point.
Prove an important point? What point could that possibly be?
That one. That's the one. There is a huge contradiction in this witness's testimony.
Contradiction?
The witness just testified to the following effect. Up until the police arrived, he didn't move from the entrance to the plaza. However, the witness just stated that he chased after Money the monkey. When the witness was off chasing Money, there was no one watching the plaza.
What is the meaning of all this, Mr. Phoenix Wright? Where are you going with this little theory of yours?
I'm saying that there is no possible way that this witness saw the plaza the entire time. That's where I'm going with this little theory, which leads me to my next point. It is entirely possible that someone other than the defendant was at the scene. Interesting, Mr. Writer.
Then tell me this, Mr. Phoenix Wright. Do you have any proof that something slipped past this vigilant ventriloquist?
He just said that he wasn't there the whole time. It didn't need to slip past him. He wasn't there. Are you dumb? The answer is yes, by the way. Well, he obviously didn't see the victim, the ringmaster, arrive on the scene.
However, that doesn't change the fact that he saw the defendant arrive.
He didn't. The witness is lying. He's blinded by his rivalry with Max. Well, the defense's argument does hold water. This witness does have a history of animosity towards the defendant.
What? How dare you? I wouldn't lie just to get that dork face in trouble. He's not even worth it. I saw him, no doubt about it. I saw that worthless liar.
Well, just for clarity's sake, let's flesh out exactly who you saw on that night.
Huh, I've told you so many times, you'd think you'd know my story's not changing.
You've already changed your story, stick boy, and I'm sure it will change some more.
Where there's one lie, there are usually many more behind it.
Exactly, Maya. That's why we have to keep after him.
Yeah.
Thank you, Maya. Good. For that, though, let me do a little quick Google right here. Fiat. What the fuck? What the first thing that comes up is a car. What's a Fiat other than a car? A formal authorization or proposition? or an arbitrary order. What? I don't think that's how he used it. Anyway. Okay. I'll give you that I was waiting for that night for Regina. But that doesn't change the fact that I saw Max in the plaza that night. He showed up after I had been waiting there for about 5 minutes. He said good evening to him. I said good evening to him. But he didn't even acknowledge my presence. Weird, right? Almost as if he was trying to hide his identity or something like that. Fucking weird. I'm absolutely sure it was him. It's just really fucking annoying, honestly, when it's literally immediately obvious to anyone who's not retarded, who's playing the game, as soon as he said it at the beginning of the trial, and we have to go through the entire trial, through all this roundabout shit, just to get Phoenix to say the thing that's immediately obvious. It's actually really obnoxious, and this case loses points for that. There's no way I could mistake someone wearing those 3 ridiculous symbols. Because Phoenix has gone into all this other shit, his rivalry with Max. He could be lying. He wasn't there. But the most obvious thing, and the thing that matters, the fact that it was probably someone else wearing the clothes, he's not even talking about. Or I'm wrong, like I was in case 3 of the first game, that I said it was someone else in the Steel Samurai costume, which it was just for different reasons than I said, but either way. That's right, Money ran up less than a minute after I saw Max. Then Money snatched the ring and you went chasing after him. How long was it until you came back to where you were waiting? Well, let's see, I'd say about, I suppose 5 minutes, I think? So the victim could have arrived on the scene in that 5-minute stretch. Mr. Wright, please proceed with your cross-examination. Okay. Well, this first one where he said I was waiting for Regina, I don't really think it needs pressing, but you never know. So you were only concerned with waiting for Regina that night. That means you probably wouldn't have noticed if someone else showed up. You should think about how many eyes I actually have. I've got 4, you know, 4. F-O-U-R, counting Ben, of course. I got the hiccups. With that many eyes, do you really think something would have slipped by me? 4 eyes is an awful lot of attention directed at one area, I suppose. Yikes, the judge is even more dangerous to our case than Trilo. Oh, Judge. Didn't smoke, Judge. So you saw Max coming out of the big top that night? Of course that's where I saw him coming from. That was the judge's voice. I was staring at the entrance to the tent the entire time. I guess that makes sense, especially since he was waiting for Regina. 5 minutes. About what time would you say these events took place? You're one of the dumbest people on the planet if you can't figure it out yourself. You already know that practice finished promptly at 10 p.m., and you already know that I went to the lodging house right after practice. You don't need to be a brain surgeon to know around what time it was when I saw him. Just add 10 more minutes. I'm sure you can do that. Now, what time was it? I love this guy. Indeed, what time was it? Oh my god. And I don't know either? I'm no good. Okay, nobody knows? It was 10:10. Yes, that sounds about right. Sounds about right because that's the time that I saw Max on the scene. Alright. So you testified that you said good evening to Max that night. You must enjoy asking incredibly obvious questions. You say good morning in the morning and good afternoon during the day, right? And it's obvious that I'd say good night to someone at night. What, Ben? You've got something to add? Let me guess. That's not it, Trilo. You say good evening at night. I'm sorry, Trilo. Mr. Quist, I would prefer if you kept your ventriloquist act outside of the courtroom. It's not an act, Your Honor. These are 2 separate people. Impossible. A performer lives and breathes his performances. You should know better. There's got to be something wrong with this bit of testimony. Honestly, I've forgotten everything that he just said because I was just wrapped up in the fact that it was funny. Yeah, he said good evening. And, I mean, I guess it's not that one, so that one then. Isn't that a bit strange to you? That he didn't say anything back? Well, if you hate Max so much, why would you bother being nice to him? Or that. It actually makes more sense that he didn't say anything back. It makes less sense that you said anything in the first place. Why would it strike you as strange? Exactly, how is it strange to be cordial to one of your co-workers? Well, if it was simply just being cordial to a co-worker, I would understand. Well, that hurt. But he did hit Ben in the head with a bottle, like, that day. Proof is everything in this world. You should have learned that back in grade school. I don't think they teach that. There's no reason the Trilo would ever say something nice to Max. But how do I go about proving that with the evidence? Well, I mean, the bottle thing, right? I guess it can give it a shot. The witness will resume his testimony. Alright. What else haven't I pressed, though? Okay, I mean... I guess I'll just go ahead and present that here, then. The bottle thing. Trilo, is it not true that you had a fight with Max on the day of the murder? A fight? A fight over Regina, to be exact. It wasn't that big of a deal, it was just an argument, a disagreement at most. A disagreement usually doesn't end with somebody getting clonked over the head. Or your head flying off. That morning, Ben got clobbered over the head by Max, didn't he? What? Is that an admission of assault and battery? Oh, well, actually, technically. Before we handle that, we should wrap up the defendant's murder charge first. So he's actually gonna get, like, some jail time or some community service or something. No matter what. That's good, he's still an asshole. I still don't like him. The truth is that on the day of the crime, the defendant and witness had a huge fight. There's absolutely no way they would have suddenly become cordial that evening. Moreover, just consider the personality of the witness on stand. There's no way a puppet this lewd would just up and say good evening to his rival. Are you saying this witness is lying? That he is trying to frame the defendant by claiming to have seen him at the crime scene? I didn't tell a single lie, honestly, I just... That's enough from you, Mr. Quist, Mr. Wright. Yes, Your Honor. Let's clarify this testimony for the court. Could you explain your theory about who the witness actually saw that night? He saw a different person. It is my belief that the witness did indeed see someone that night. It was just someone else. That's who he said good evening to. What kind of theory is that? The correct one. Furthermore, I don't believe the person the witness saw was Max at all. I mean, didn't we just establish that by saying that it was a different person? Whatever. If he had truly met Max that night, there would have been no greeting at all. Yeah, we just said that. Why are you saying it twice? Which means there is only one proper answer. The person the witness saw that night was... Why are you saying the same thing 3 times? We just said that. Why are you... Okay, thank you. I got it. Anyway. Thank you also for taking 52 minutes. 52 minutes this recording has been going on to get to the most obvious thing that was obvious within the first 5 minutes. Thanks, game. Anyway, that is why Trilo made the effort to greet whoever it was that he saw that evening. Or good evening, as he put it. What in the world? You... So, I was right, but Phoenix was also right about him lying. He didn't just not see who he was. He apparently, did see who it was, but he lied here to fuck over Max. But it wasn't Max, which I was right about because that was obvious. Who was it that he saw then? Oh. Well, now you're asking the hard-hitting questions. Well, who was it? Well, wasn't any of these guys. Wasn't her. He said he dropped Mo off in his room, so it probably wasn't him, but it could have been. We know that Russell obviously went there, and it wouldn't be Regina. If he saw her, he wouldn't just let her pass by. So it's either Russell or Mo. Last time we had one of these, I said Russell, and I was wrong. I'm gonna try him again. Why would Russell be wearing Max's clothes? Huh. Anyway. Unless we're assuming that he was lying about everything and he wasn't wearing Max's clothes at all, he was just some random... he was just lying completely. But I still think he was wearing Max's clothes, pretending to be Max. Oh. No, Judge, stop. No, Your Honor, it is not Regina. If it was Regina, Trilo would have given her the... Yeah, he wouldn't greet the clown, remember? The pay sucks and the clown sucks. So, he wouldn't greet him. Oh, yeah, I suppose you've got a point there. It was Russell Berry, the victim himself, was it not? You are correct, it was indeed Russell Berry. The person you saw that evening was the victim, the ringmaster, Russell Berry. That's why you greeted him, Trilo, isn't that correct? Answer the question, Mr. Quist. Okay. Order, order. How do you respond to this? Wait a second. Well, at first I thought it was the old man. But, once I got a better look at him, it was obviously Maximilian Galactica. So he was wearing the clothes. Right? Mr. Quist obviously witnessed a single person in the area of the plaza that evening. The problem is identifying exactly who that person was. Although if that's the case, that's kind of weird. On first inspection, you'd think the clothes would pop out first, and then on further inspection, you'd then notice it was Russell, not the other way around. The prosecution argues that it was the defendant that the witness saw that night. Well, the prosecution can suck a dick. The witness has clearly stated that he saw the defendant's 3 symbols. 3 symbols. Alright, this is getting old. Come on, man, you've got to remember them by now. Okay, so he was wearing the clothes, so I was correct the whole time. Okay. Yep, that. Objection. A silk hat and a cloak. Anyone could... Thank you! Oh my god! It took you 55 minutes to say that! Holy shit, man! Get a new job. You're not good at this. You take too long. We could have done 2 other cases in the time since we've been here that we would have saved. What was that? Well, the witness has endlessly repeated that he saw Max's 3 symbols. However, how do we really know it was Maximum? Do you have any idea how frustrating this is? That it took him so long to say this? It could have been someone else dressed up as him. You don't say! If only there had been somebody else here to point that out. An hour ago. Oh wait, there was me. Possibly even Russell Berry. Why was he wearing them? I don't know, but... Miss Von Karma, do you have clear evidence that the person the witness saw was the defendant? Well, If that's the case, then it is impossible for me to make a judgment at this point. Yes, I think we finally won a point in this one. That is very unfortunate. Huh? You're just a little too excited for your own good, Mr. Phoenix Wright. What do you mean by that? You merely established one thing from this witness. You established that this witness saw one person in the plaza that night. I applaud you on your effort, but... What? Who that person was can only be answered by the next witness. Huh? Your Honor, the prosecution will provide, beyond a shadow of a doubt, an answer to that question and evidence that clearly establishes one thing. It's gonna be Mo, because he was the eyewitness to the crime. But, I don't know. I don't think we can trust anything he says. He's just making shitty jokes all the time. During that time, I request the prosecution prepare their next witness. And if he says anything obvious up front, can we please point it out immediately? Thank you. Anyway, that is that part of the trial done. I guess we'll be moving on to Mo in the next part. So thank you for watching, and I'll see you then.